another thing, Master. Have you caught the villain who wanted to kill me?
No, I haven't. I didn't catch the villain who wanted to kill you. He got away between the brush and the steep twists of the path.
But why?
I don't know. Not yet, I don't. But I suspect we'll find out soon enough. Fair enough. It's late. Let's head for the Abbey. These gates guard one of the most eminent and enigmatic abbeys in the kingdom. The impregnability of its library is legendary, both for those who might seek to destroy it and for those who merely wish to study it. This is Bruno, my novice. That's the bell which announces to the brother acting as gatekeeper that someone is waiting outside the door.
We have been impatiently awaiting your arrival, Brother Leonardo.
I sincerely regret the delay, brother.
It's all the same to me. I have explicit orders from the abbot to wait at the gate to welcome you, even if that means spending the whole time out here on a devilish night like this.
We had a little accident.
The path is filled with danger, brother, not only due to the difficult lay of the land, but because on nights like these, robbers and thieves have the perfect conditions to commit their evil deeds.
Take a good look at us, brother.
Egidio.
What loot could they hope for from poor monks like us?
The horse and the donkey.
Did anyone leave the Abbey last night?
The compline prayers are already over with and everyone's asleep, brother. You'll notice during your stay just how strict the schedule is at our Abbey. Come in, come in. I'll take you to your cell so that you can lie down. You can see the abbot tomorrow.
Brother Leonardo, it is an honor for this humble abbey to be allowed to welcome you.
Father Abbot, if the honor is as great as your modesty, I don't think I deserve it. This is Bruno, the son of the Count of Capra Negra.
Where were we? Ah, yes, the young man who would like to be initiated into our abbey.
Father?
We have brought a gift from the Count. A gift? What is it? What is it?
A book that shows the Count's interest in...
No, a book. I think I get the point. He's very interested in seeing his son have a successful career with the church.
Father, these days a book can be a great treasure.
Brother Leonardo, as with many others, news of your wisdom and perception has reached my ears as well. As there is a matter which does worry me, I would very much like to discuss it with you.
Does that have something to do with the demise of your former gatekeeper?
But how?
I just spied Egidius walking towards the cemetery with a wooden cross on a cart. I put two and two together and deduced that a monk must have died recently. And as Egidius was the one who waited for us last night, and the duties of a gatekeeper normally have nothing to do with those of a gravedigger, it's only logical that the deceased must be the gatekeeper.
But why do you suspect that something curious is attached to that death?
An accident wouldn't make you uneasy, and if the situation dealt with a suicide, you wouldn't bury him in consecrated soil.
Impressive!
Although, that's not all you should be worried about.
What do you mean by that?
Yesterday we were attacked by a monk, and there aren't too many monasteries around here.
I regret any such incident, but I'm sure that your eyes and the dearth of light caused illusions that deceived you. Once the prayers for compline have been said, the monks are not allowed to leave the abbey.
Is that right?
All of the doors are locked tight, and the only ones who don't sleep in the artificium, where the monks' cells are are the brother gatekeeper and myself.
Fair enough, but I'll still be on my guard. Rather than finding out who did it, I'd say it would be much more interesting to find out why they did it.
Well, well, I see that word of your fame is more than just idle talk.
Father,
Brother Leonardo, running an abbey is no simple task. And in times like these, preserving the righteous faith of the community is even more difficult. Day by day, the people become less God-fearing, and the devil sows his seeds on the fertile soil of doubt and fear.
are you trying to say that ignorance is a virtue?
Knowledge can be a devastating temptation, too. Especially at an abbey like ours. A fortress of wisdom and knowledge.
The greatness of your library is known far and wide, as are the difficulties in seeing its best volumes.
As you know, the archives of our library hold ancient and extremely rare copies of the most important writings of Christianity. Bibles, epistles from many saints, scriptures from significant blessed figures, written down to enhance the love of our Lord. It is our duty to preserve these precious books. And that's why access is denied to everyone except the librarian and his assistant.
Does that mean you think the gatekeeper's death points to the library?
There are rumors that strange things are going on in the library.
What kind of rumors?
The servants and common folk put faith in those kinds of superstition. They lack the necessary understanding to illuminate events concealed in the darkness of sin with the light of knowledge.
But it's obvious that we are presently not talking about rumors being spread by illiterates. What incidents?
Happenings of a supernatural nature. Who would doubt that a monastery is the best place to corrupt untainted souls? Perhaps evil is lurking like a predator after its prey.
And what do you think about that?
If a shepherd is told that a wolf is on the prowl, wouldn't he gather his flock and stand guard? Whatever I think is beside the point, but the monks are uneasy, and after Anselmo's death, all the more so.
So you want me to look into those rumors?
I'd like you to use your perceptive mind to find an explanation, as perceptive as you can be, and as discreetly as you can be.
I'm all for it.
We thank you, Brother Leonardo.
But I will need something. I must be able to question the Brotherhood without restrictions.
As long as it doesn't disturb the Brothers' work, they will be glad to help you.
I thank you. Please exempt me from taking part at Mass.
In a battle like this, I'm not sure if you should make do without having the power of prayer at your side.
I am grateful for your concern, Father. But if there's one place at this monastery where I certainly won't find any demons, then it's the church.
All right, as you wish.
I need permission to enter the library.
But the rule is very strict with regard to this. No one is allowed to go.
If everything points to the library and strange things are happening, don't you think it could help me to find out the truth if I were allowed to go in there?
I am sure you'll find a way. Lucifer already roams freely about the Abbey. There is no need for you to do so as well.
A wise man once said, "Find the leaf, and ye shall find the fruits of the earth beneath it."
Brother Leonardo, this is Segundo, our prior.
Brother?
Brother Leonardo, the responsibility I bear demands that I not only keep the faith of this monastery, but that I safeguard its treasures too. The rules that forbid entry to the library serves that purpose, and I cannot permit people to walk in and out as if it were a marketplace.
But
Your mission is to investigate the death of Anselmo the Gatekeeper, and to find the signs of the devil in this matter.
Then please excuse me, Father. I have a job to do. Nothing interesting? No. This is Bruno, my personal toothache. Nothing interesting? I thought one would find a masterpiece of wrought art in the belfry of Nuestra Señora de la Natividad, something that could be compared with the censer. Although, in its own rough-hewn way, this bell is perfect. It's better that way. I ask myself how long he's been here at the monastery. Good day to you, brother. Good day to you, brother.
All right already. I'm old, but I'm not deaf.
Then why didn't you reply?
These young people, always in a hurry. I don't know what you want, youngster, but I doubt it's as urgent as caring for Clotilde. You're not wilting, she is.
You call a plant Clotilde?
Yes. Do you have any objection to that, young man?
None at all, brother. However, it does seem unusual to me that you're giving a plant a name.
I see you don't know much about plants. They can listen and even talk. Watch this. Greet the guests, Clotilde. Good, good. She's a bit shy, you know.
I can see that.
Whatever. What do you want from an old man like me, brother?
My name is Leonardo de Toledo. And you are?
De Toledo, eh? How do things look in France nowadays?
No, Toledo is not in France.
Honest, it's not? What a shame.
Now, yes, right. As I see, you're the gardener.
Very observant of you, young man. Correct. I am Brother Arcadio, and as you can see, I take care of the plants at the Abbey. This garden is flourishing, and I planted it. The region is rather dark. We only get a few hours of sunlight here. That's why I try to spread a bit of joy around the place.
You've truly done good work, brother.
I have, haven't I?
Have you been at the Abbey long?
Me? Yes, my whole life. One rainy night I was left at the entrance to the monastery when I was no more than a babe. It's been my home since then.
Oh,
Hang on. Was I already a young man when I first became a seminarian? I don't remember anymore. Oh, well, it's not important either. I like the other story better anyway.
if you've been staying here for so long, then you'll know quite a bit about the Abbey.
Yes, the problem is remembering. My memory is not what it used to be, though it was never very good. I recall that there was once... no, to be honest, I don't remember at all.
Do you recall any cases of crime at the Abbey?
Yes,
Yes?
we once had a cook who nearly did us in. His best dish smelled like musty bog mud and tasted even worse. Thank the Lord he became a missionary. One day he announced that he was going on a pilgrimage to the Orient to feed the poor children.
Now that's courage for you.
Yes, one needs courage for that. As if they didn't have enough troubles already. Anyway, we have a new cook now. Have you tried any of his dishes yet? They're magnificent. The only thing is, I just can't seem to remember his name.
Do you know if a death similar to that of Brother Anselmo's has ever occurred in the history of the Abbey?
Why do you ask, brother?
Just asking. But if an accident like the one Brother Anselmo had ever happened in the past, then there might be a connection between the two.
A connection? No, I don't really. Censors don't make a habit of falling on people's heads with us. I would remember that. At least I think I would. Poor Clotilde. Her leaves are not what they used to be anymore, either.
I have no more questions.
It's probably better that way. Then I don't need to put so much strain on my memory. We're too old for that by now, aren't we, Clotilde?
What can you tell me about the gatekeeper's death?
Gatekeeper? We never had a gatekeeper here. Someone has given you the wrong information, brother.
But Anselmo?
Poor Anselmo. His death was a hard blow to the monastery. As for the gatekeeper, I'm afraid I can't help you there. Could it be that you've got your abbeys confused, young man?
Why do you say it was such a hard blow to the Abbey?
The death of a brother is always hard, especially when the person involved is so young. The Lord shouldn't come for us before our time. Isn't that right, Clotilde?
Do you know what he died of?
Yes. A censer fell and hit him on the head. That must have been painful.
Do you think Anselmo's death was peculiar?
Peculiar? Peculiar? Did you hear that, Clotilde? Could be that this young man knows what you and I know.
What are you referring to?
Don't interrupt me. I'm talking to Clotilde. Yes? Perchance he learned about something that has to do with Brother Anselmo's death from you. What did you say? We should tell him. Are you sure? No. Whatever you say, Clotilde.
Who was it who let Clotilde wither away?
Quiet down. Be quiet. Clotilde can hear you and doesn't want that known. She's afraid. I understand that. She's defenseless.
But what are you talking about?
What were you thinking, Clotilde? It's all right now? Or why not before? You don't trust this young man. Why not? Yes, quite lively. Just as it should be, but certainly friendly and polite enough. The little boy.
What is Clotilde saying?
Clotilde says she may only confide our secret to the boy accompanying you.
Master?
Come closer, my child. So now you know it. Don't tell a soul. It's a secret.
The plant didn't say a thing.
Oh, is that right? How odd. I have no more questions about Anselmo.
Excellent. We'll let Anselmo rest in peace. He's earned it.
I'll let you work in peace. Thank you for your time.
All right, it doesn't matter. Poor Clotilde.
The cells all look identical. 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 I don't see anything special. That doesn't work. No, nothing interesting. I haven't slept so peacefully at an abbey since I was in San Rodrigo. Here is where Bruno sleeps. Not even a trace of some evidence. Not even a trace of some evidence. Saint Torquato, a bishop and martyr from the 1st century. This church is dedicated to him. He was a famous missionary. Here is where one enters the chapter hall. The children born in the course of a year are baptized here. It's locked. No one will be inside. The baptism font. There's no water in it at the moment. It's only filled to celebrate the Paschal Vigil. A wooden image of Cristo de los Faldones, highly revered in this region. Here lie the mortal remains of the Duke of Sicard, who financed the construction for nearly all of the church. The gravestone of Abbot Emilio de Pisa, who passed away in 1132. He was the one who had this church built. Gravestone of Abbot Valero, who consecrated the church in 1185. He was Abbot Emilio de Pisa's successor. This is the way down to the crypt. It's been locked with a key. Brother?
Listen well, brother. I ask you to please conclude your investigation as rapidly as possible, because I'm not going to tolerate things like this at my abbey any longer. Was that sufficiently clear?
May I remind you that I stand under the abbot's command?
As do I. That's why I'm telling you.
There's a saying where I come from. If the prior makes merry, then what are the monks up to? A famous emblem of the region. Anyone who would use this chalice made of solid gold for mass would be exhausted just trying to lift it. I do love music, but I couldn't say which instrument that is. It looks like a cross between a lute and a fiddle. Let's take a look. The Life and Miracles of San Matteo de Verher. Saint Gabriel, a legend of our time. Revelations of Saint Evaristus. Nothing interesting, with all due respect for the saints, of course. I don't think going in there is part of the freedom of movement the abbot has authorized.
Brother Leonardo, any news?
No, not yet. Only theories.
Then why have you come?
I was just passing by, but I'm headed off again.
In that case, go with my blessing, and keep me informed.
This is Bruno, my novice. He's currently keeping an eye on my old traveling companion. Brother.
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions about the mystery surrounding Anselmo's death.
Mystery? There's no mystery. A frankincense censer weighing 200 pounds fell on his head. If I'm not mistaken, accidents like that are fatal.
You seem to be quite sure of yourself.
Indeed, I'm sure.
The certainty in your reply. What is it based on?
My what? Brother, there are other monks at this abbey who speak Latin much better than I do. Please remember that I'm a simple grave digger. Gatekeeper, groom. Oh, I don't know myself anymore.
What I want to say is, why do you believe that Anselmo's death was an accident?
I was there.
Beg your pardon?
I was one of those holding the rope for the censer together with Nicholas and Gottfried. We had just fixed the rope in place and were wondering if the height was right when it suddenly split apart. Anselmo and the abbot were underneath the censer, but Anselmo didn't get away in time. As you can plainly see, if there's anyone to blame for all this, then it's a rotten rope.
Where is the murder weapon? What I want to say is about the accident.
Back there. It was taken here since there was no room for the repairs in the smithy.
You're a very busy monk.
What other choice do I have?
We all have our work cut out for us.
Right you are. One job, not several. I came here as a grave digger. Since Anselmo's death, I'm now the new gatekeeper. And now, thanks to you, the groom.
Don't worry. We won't be staying here long.
I hope not. I can't stand the smell in the stables.
Believe me, brother, there are things at this abbey that give off a worse smell. I'd like to ask you a few questions about the mystery surrounding Anselmo's death.
Mystery? There's no mystery. A frankincense censer weighing 200 pounds fell on his head.
Didn't you ask yourself if maybe it wasn't an accident?
I don't ask. I thought questions were what you do.
Right you are, but you're forgetting that you must answer them.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I didn't ask myself if it wasn't an accident. Satisfied?
Do you think it could be the devil's work?
The devil? Do you mean evil incarnate? Satan?
That's right, in all his many names.
I beg you, brother. The cause of Anselmo's death is that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all. The devil incarnate. What poor wretch came up with such a foolish idea like that?
The abbot. He's concerned that there's more behind the gatekeeper's death than merely the irony of fate we keep hearing so often.
He'll have his reasons. The abbot is an intelligent person, even though he does confuse the smell of snuff with the smell of sulfur.
I have no more questions. I see you're keeping an eye on our mounts.
The abbot's orders. I have to clean and groom your horse every day during your stay here. It seems that you're a very illustrious guest and must be treated accordingly. That means if there's anything I can do for you...
Much obliged, but I managed to wash all by myself this morning. I'd like to ask you a few questions about the mystery surrounding Anselmo's death.
Mystery? There's no mystery. A frankincense censer weighing 200 pounds fell on his head. If I'm not mistaken, accidents like that are fatal.
I have no more questions. We're leaving. Are you going to be nearby?
I hope not.
There you go. The involuntary cause of the whole matter. Let's take a closer look at it. Interesting.
What have you found, Master? Oh my God, it's blood. You found some evidence.
Think about it, Bruno. Do you really believe that finding blood in a censer that struck a monk and killed him can automatically be called evidence? Besides, It's not blood at all.
It's not.
Look closely at the way it dried. If it were blood, the texture and color would look very different. I think it came from some kind of pigment. Red ink, for example. Isn't that interesting?
Ink? Why should ink be interesting?
Think about it, Bruno. Where can we find red ink at the Abbey? So, blood, huh?
Blood? Red ink? How should I know?
That's what it's all about, Bruno. Knowing as much as possible. Not necessary. I can get anywhere I want. I hope his energy is replenished during our stay at the Abbey. It's going to be needed for the journey back. I hope his energy is replenished, Brother Egidio.
Ah, you're the new...
I'd like to ask you a few questions about the mystery surrounding Anselmo's death.
Mystery?
You seem to be quite sure of yourself.
Indeed, I'm sure.
Do you know what they were talking about?
Nicholas and Gottfried?
No, Anselmo and the abbot.
No, I couldn't hear them. And anyway, it was none of my business. All I did was my work.
Was anyone else in the church besides Anselmo, the abbot, and the ones who wanted to hang the censor?
No, just us. And besides, the church has very good acoustics. If anyone else has been there, we'd have heard. I don't know, at least footsteps.
That's strange.
What?
You said you wouldn't have been able to hear the conversation between Anselmo and the abbot, even though they were only a few meters away. Yet you're certain that no one else was in the church because you would have heard them due to the acoustics.
That's not what I said.
Excuse me, but those were your words.
Yes. All right, no. That's not what I wanted to say. I neither heard anyone nor saw anyone.
That's a different story.
I want to set one thing straight. I did not see anyone. All I am is a simple gravedigger. Gatekeeper or stable groom. What do I know?
Do you think someone could have had a reason to murder Anselmo?
For what reason? For coming too late to Mass or sneezing during compline prayers? For heaven's sake, we're an abbey, not a seaman's tavern. Differences aren't settled with knives.
One thing is clear. If it wasn't an accident, then there must be a reason. I have to find out that reason, and that's why I have to ask questions.
In that case, you've picked out the wrong monk. I don't poke around in others' lives, and they don't poke around in mine.
About something different. We're leaving. Are you going to be nearby?
I hope not.
Brother,
Yes?
I am Leonardo de Toledo. What's your name?
I'm Gottfried of Trentino.
It seems like you're a bit nervous.
Of course! You scared me half to death.
I'm sorry, brother. It wasn't my intention to startle you. Are you all right again?
Yes, nothing happened.
Were you hiding yourself?
Ooh, me?
That's the impression one gets. But it could also be that the columns of this building aren't as stable as they look. And that's why it needs a special support.
I was just resting a bit. Yes, that's right.
He's lying, Master. He wasn't resting.
Bruno! I beg you to forgive the boy. He's the new novice at your order. With time, I hope he achieves the stature all the other brothers at the Abbey have reached.
At the moment, the only stature he's achieved is with the size of his tongue.
Are you the librarian?
I'm not the librarian, just his assistant. The brother who takes care of the library is Marcello, the one over there. He can help you with anything you want. As you can see, I have a lot to do right now.
I'd love to look at the books you're carrying.
I'm sorry, but I must archive these books right away. Work just grows and grows.
So, is there an urgency for working with the books? I've heard a great deal about your famous Abbey library.
Yes, of course. These here are commonplace books. Dialogues, tracks on art, and several compilations of manuscripts. Nothing special.
No matter how commonplace they may be, as a rule, there is something interesting in each and every book. I've heard that you have some of the most beautiful copies here for safekeeping, and that they're being cared for excellently.
No! I mean to say, yes. Surely, if you'd like a special one, all you need is to say so, yes.
I'll make a note of that. Where can I get red ink?
Red ink? Oh, in the scriptorium, the second floor.
Thank you. It seems I will have to pull out all the stops in order to get into the scriptorium. May I ask you a few questions?
And my answer would be, I'd be delighted. But I have a great deal of work to do, so if you'll excuse me.
I have work to do too, at the abbot's bidding.
All right, but be brief.
Tell me about Anselmo.
Anselmo was a great monk. I wish I could have gotten to really know him.
Really know him?
Yes, all I mean is, how should I put it? I didn't know him well. He was very reserved, but there's no excuse for the lack of respect that the other brothers treated him with.
As I see, he wasn't very popular.
No, don't get me wrong. Anselmo was a well-read man and very intelligent. He fit perfectly into the Abbey, except that he wasn't very likable, and that irritated the others a lot. But that wasn't the reason why he was killed, was it?
Ah, so you believe that Anselmo was murdered?
No. What do you mean by that? I don't know, but that's why you're here, isn't it?
I'm here to cast light on the truth, whatever that may be. According to what I've heard, you were one of the brothers who held the censer when Anselmo died.
Regretfully, yes. I had the misfortune to be there. A horrible sight. His body crushed by the gift from the abbot of San Nicodemo. His blood everywhere.
Spare yourself the details, brother. Just because I didn't see the body doesn't mean that I don't know what the fall of a large censer can do to a person. There. Do you believe that the censer crashing down was an accident?
I don't know. Nicholas, Egidio, and I were the only ones holding the censer. Oh!
What's happened?
The thought just occurred to me that perhaps it was all our fault.
In what way?
Oh, maybe Anselmo would still be alive if we had used a stronger rope. Oh, my God!
The abbot was there with Anselmo, wasn't he?
Oh, yes.
Could you hear what they were talking about?
I'm not sure, but if I remember correctly, I think that Anselmo told the abbot about the lights in the library.
Lights? What are you talking about?
Oh, they're there. You've just arrived, so you're not up to date on the rumors that have been circulating recently about the library here.
So that's what this is about. The abbot mentioned something to that effect, but he didn't want to go into detail.
I'd tell you, but I don't think the boy should hear anything about it.
And why not?
Well, what I'm going to say might give him nightmares.
He's old enough to cope with an allegedly disturbing story.
You know, it was only recently that from here you could see lights coming out of the library at night. Oh, and not only that, odd sounds were heard too.
Who saw them?
All you have to do is ask. Oh, yes, many claim to have seen the lights. Anselmo was one of them. You know who. He was the gatekeeper. That's why he was the last to go to bed.
You have some kind of theory about this?
Oh, and now the eerie part comes. I wanted to avoid having the child hear it. Many years ago, the librarian was found dead outside the edificium. Everything pointed to suicide, and as you yourself know, the Lord takes none to him who have forfeited the divine gift of life, which is why the librarian wasn't buried in the cemetery.
What does that have to do with the strange lights?
Don't you understand? It could be that it was the librarian's heartfelt wish to rest among his brothers in the cemetery. Therefore, his spirit shall wander eternally because he feels he has the right to rest near his brothers.
One moment. Are you telling me that a phantom is haunting the library?
Of course. What else could all that howling be that no one seems able to explain?
The howling of a soul that finds no peace.
Yes.
In that case, what do the lights mean?
That's the spirit's glowing aura.
Seriously, brother, do you truly believe what you're saying?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that, but I do believe there's some truth behind it. Lots of us do.
I have no more questions. Do you think that harmony reigns among the brothers?
We all try to do our work the best we can.
I don't doubt that, and that's not why I'm asking either.
Then what do you mean?
I don't know. Did the brothers argue? Any particular incident?
Nothing to speak of. The usual, I'd say. A small complaint to the cook when the soup was served cold. A slight reprimand from Marcello when I was late with work.
I don't know. Could someone have a motive to carry out a dispute like that to the bitter end?
No! For heaven's sake, definitely not. This place of peace, our relationships are supposed to be based on mutual respect and practicing the gospel of our Lord.
Supposed to be? Is that perhaps not the case at all?
I didn't say that. I was referring to... Oh, well, you know what I mean.
That's all I wanted to know. For the moment, I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Don't mention it. But if you'll excuse me now, brother, I have a lot to do.
It's the librarian's assistant, Brother Gottfried.
What? Have you solved the mystery already?
Mystery? I thought Anselmo's death was an accident.
Well, yes. But are you sure?
If that were the case, then I wouldn't have to investigate any further. Don't you agree?
That sounds logical.
But now to our matter at hand. Where can I get red ink?
Red ink? Oh, in the scriptorium, the second floor.
Thank you. It seems... Go on. You're doing
Thank you.
What an enormous collection of books. There's certainly enough paper in this library. I don't think it's important. I don't think it's important. I don't see any clues. An incredible collection of books. What an enormous collection of books. There's certainly enough paper in this library. Doesn't seem to work. There's certainly enough paper in this library. No. There's nothing there that could arouse my interest. There's nothing there that could arouse my interest. Gravestones in bad condition. That's all I can find here, apart from cobwebs and dust. I hope the abbot considers having the roof redone, otherwise it's going to collapse soon. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. I don't see any clues. Looks like it wouldn't achieve anything. Not even a trace of some evidence.
Leonardo de Toledo.
Eladio from Thebes. It's been a long time.
Wow, you have grown old.
Yes, it's true. A few years have gone by. We're no longer the young seminarians who drank the communion wine when the rector wasn't looking.
Oh, that's true. I'd almost forgotten.
Tell me, what are you doing at such a famous abbey? You always said you wanted to be a hermit on Corfu and dedicate your time purely to meditation and plants.
I exchanged the plants on Corfu for the tracts of Hippocrates. I'm the doctor and specialist for herbs at the monastery. And who is this boy? Your servant?
I'm not his servant. I'm going to join your order and become a great monk, a very wise one, and a great scholar.
Goodness me, another one who wants to become pope. How boring. I'm sure that if I joined your order, I would have had more fun. And a servant.
I must go, Eladio.
All right. Come to the hospital later. We can carry on our conversation then and chat about old times.
You can be assured that I'll do that. It really was a surprise to run into Eladio at this abbey. Who would have thought that after all these years? It's merely a simple cabinet. I ask myself what Eladio keeps here.
Something dangerous. I mean, someone could take some medicine that wasn't meant for them and get sick. That's why he kept it under lock and key.
Look around you, Bruno. All these shelves are full of chemical substances. Wouldn't you consider them rather dangerous if an unknowing person ingested them? Eladio.
Oh, Leonardo, my friend. I've been waiting for you. How was your first day at the Abbey?
Not very well, Eladio.
Is that right? Oh, well. Tomorrow you'll find all the answers, I'm sure of that. The way you always do.
You have to ask the right questions before you get the right answers.
Then ask away while we chat a bit, my friend.
What have you been up to?
Is that what you're talking about? Do you still remember the relaxing teas we used to drink after a hard day's work?
How could I ever forget them?
Then let me tell you that they've gotten that much better with time.
I'm glad to hear that your calling has borne fruits.
Yes, well, part of the fame goes to Martin, our cook. He knows quite a bit about plants too. I've learnt a lot from him. He's very good.
Is this infusion for you?
No, it's for the abbot. You've seen how relaxed he is. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to give him something for his nerves.
Eladio. You're as altruistic as always.
Oh, yes, I am, aren't I?
Could we talk about Anselmo?
Back to work. Isn't that what it's called? Fair enough. We'll talk about Anselmo.
Anselmo's death arouses several points of suspicion.
What kind of suspicion?
How should I put it? The way he died was...
Strange.
That too. Although selective was the word I was searching for.
Selective? I don't get it, my friend.
2 people were underneath the sensor when it fell.
Sadly, Anselmo was the one to get hit. The abbot was lucky. Anselmo wasn't. Oh, get off it. It happened, that's all. Things like that happen now and then. Are you telling me you don't remember what happened to Father Macario?
If you don't mind, I'd rather not talk about Father Macario.
Whatever you say, but accidents like that do occur.
Did you have much contact with Anselmo?
Just the right amount. Sufficient, I'd say. I don't know how to put it. He wasn't exactly the friendliest monk in the whole order.
Did you have much contact with Anselmo?
Just the right amount. Sufficient, I'd say. I don't know how to put it. He wasn't exactly the friendliest monk in the whole order.
Anselmo's death arouses several points of suspicion.
What kind of suspicion?
How should I put it? The way he...
Strange.
That too.
Selective.
2.
Sadly. Oh, get off.
If you don't mind...
Whatever you say, but...
The abbot thinks the devil has...
Stop beating around the bush. Evil is hanging over this abbey. Isn't that so?
Indeed it is. The devil.
Leonardo, you and I have travelled a lot. We've seen enough to know that the world doesn't need the devil to destroy itself. It's a very painful memory, but I had to cross a field full of dead bodies on the way to this monastery. I tried not to tread on amputated limbs and not step into the rivulets of blood. It's a grotesque and indecent spectacle I never hope to see again in my entire life. But believe you me, Although the scene out there was worthy of one from hell, the hand of the devil had no part in it. It was mankind alone, man with his absurd wars.
In other words, in your opinion, the devil had nothing to do with Anselmo's death.
That's what I just said, my dear friend. In times like these, we should keep up more of a guard against our neighbours than against Satan himself. And besides, it doesn't make any sense to smash a poor monk's skull with a 200-pound censer, not even for the devil incarnate.
I have no more questions about Anselmo.
I have no more questions about Anselmo. Does that mean you're interrogating me?
You're my friend, but you're also a monk at this abbey. It's nothing personal.
Ah, well, in that case...
I must go, Eladio.
What's the hurry?
I must serve the interests of the abbot. Please understand that.
Of course. I was only looking forward to talking some more with you.
We still have time left for that, my dear friend. Don't you worry. According to the legend, the Virgin Mary appeared at precisely this spot. Since then, there's been water beneath here. Something which, in a purely physical sense, is utterly impossible where we are. According to the legend, the
Master, let me do it.
Come on, Bruno. I'm sure the bucket is bigger than you are. How are you going to be able to get it up here full of water? Don't be childish.
I'm not a child. Let me do it. Help, Master. Help me. Please.
I warned you. Do you have any idea how I can get you out of the well?
Quickly, if that's possible. Otherwise, I'll catch cold.
Can you climb out by yourself?
If I could, I would have done it already. I need your help.
Is the water drinkable?
I don't know. I didn't have enough time to... Don't laugh, Master. Get me out of here.
You're much too impulsive. You deserve it.
I only wanted to help, Master.
It's enough when you don't touch a thing and speak only when I tell you to. That's all the help I need from you. I hope your interlude in the well helps you spend some thought on that.
What? Do you intend to leave me down here?
Only as long as necessary, Bruno.
But... Master?
I'll find a way to get you out. Stay right there.
What does that mean? Stay right there? Where shall I go? As a pilgrim on St. James's Way...
There's no time to waste. I need to get Bruno out of the well. There's no time to waste. Can you hear me, Bruno?
Yes. The acoustics down here are fabulous.
Listen very closely. I'm going to let a rope down. Hold on to it tightly if you can. And don't forget to bring the bucket up with you. Did you understand me?
Yes. Hurry, please.
Good. It's on the way.
Thank you, Master.
Bruno,
Yes?
what about the bucket?
Please don't be angry with me.
I knew this was going to happen. Oh, what's the point? It can't be helped. Come on. You can't very well walk around here dripping wet. We'll go to the cell to dry you off.
I've already changed clothes, Master.
Brother Leonardo, any news?
No, not yet. Only theories.
Then why have you come?
Father, it's imperative that I obtain access to the upper halls of the library.
That's out of the question. As you know, the rules of this abbey forbid.
But
It's useless. You're not going to persuade me.
I was just passing by, but I'm headed off again.
In that case, go with my blessing, and keep me informed.
There's a saying where I come from. If the prior makes me... There's a saying where I come... Brother?
Listen well, brother. I ask you to please conclude your...
May I remind you that...
As do I.